some of the homework problems that are in section 10 too, like this one. About how many alcohol-related deaths occurred in 1990? And we're to choose the number of alcohol-related deaths that were in 1990. Okay, and that's looking at this particular chart right here, or this broken line graph. Okay, in 1990, which is right here, and we're going to read upward, and we're going to see that in this case, there were about 22, and this is going to be in thousands, so it's going to be about 22,000 deaths, alcohol-related deaths that occurred in 1990. So to answer this question, it will be part D, which is 22,000. So based on that chart, there were 22,000 alcohol-related deaths in 1990. All right, number 2, here we have Coach Garcia kept track of the walks for the softball team for a 10-year period. And here's the chart that we have. The year is going across and the walks are listed underneath that. And here you want to find out which scatter plot represents the data in the table. Which scatter plot represents the data in that table. Now looking at this table here, I see that the number of walks increase as each year progresses. So we know it cannot be A, and we know it can't be B. It will have to be C. Because as you can see, the number of walks increases in this table as the year progresses. So here, this looks like the best graph or the best scatter plot for this particular table that's given to us. Alright, and from that, we can find out what kind of association is there for these data. It's either going to be a positive association, negative association, or no association. Well, by looking at this graph in part C, we see that the dots are increasing from left to right. So here, this would represent a positive association for that particular graph in graph C. Okay, now the next question is, problem number 3, what type of association exists for these data? Either positive, no association, or negative association. And here is the graph. And notice that these points are scattered everywhere on this graph. So there is no type of association that we can come up with for this set of data. So this graph has no association. Should be B, no association. Alright, let's look at the next problem that deals with another scatter plot with a line of best fit. Let's say we want to consider the following table showing speed limits and death rates from automobile accidents in selected countries. Construct a scatter plot and, based on the visual inspection, draw a trend line. Now, here's the data table that we're going to be using. In this case, you'll see the country and then the death rate per 100 million vehicle miles, and then the speed limit in miles per hour. Okay, and here we want to come up with a scatter plot based on that visual inspection and draw the trend line. Alright, here in this case, the number 52 occurs 5 times. So if you look at it, you should have like 5 data plots that have the number 52. And by the way, if you look at this data plot here, you can see that this line would be the best fit for this graph, as opposed to this line that's on top and this line that's far on the bottom. Because the trend line is usually somewhere in between those points. So A would be the line or the scatter plot with the best trend line or the line of best fit. And again, you can use your graphing calculator to do a scatter plot, or you can use Microsoft Excel to do a scatter plot for any set of data and create a trend line. Alright, next problem. deals with the comparison line graph showing the number of CDs sold by two different stores over a 5-year period. And here's that trend line right here. Oh, just a broken line graph. And it's a comparison line graph, by the way. Now the question asks, in what year did chain store B first sell more CDs than chain store A? Chain store B is in red, as you can see, and chain store A is in blue. Now the year that chain store B sold more than chain store A would be, in this case, if this is 1999, then this is 2000. This will have to be 2001, where chain store B sold more CDs than chain store A. So in this case, it was 2001 that chain store B would first sell more CDs than chain store A. Okay, let's look at the next problem, problem number 6, where it has here, if a trend line had the equation y is equal to x plus 4, what y value would you expect to obtain when x is 18? So in this case here, x is going to be 18 in this case. And our equation, our trend line, is y is equal to x plus 4. Since x is 18, we can just replace the x in this equation with 18. So it will be 18 plus 4, which is simply going to be 22. So the y value that we would expect to obtain when x is equal to 18 would be 22. And finally, number 7, if a trend line had the equation y is equal to x plus 7, what y value would you expect to obtain when x is 24? Okay, in this case, x is 24, and our trend line, it has the equation y is equal to x plus 7. So in this case here, our y will be equal to 24. We replace that x with 24 and then add 7 to it to get 31. So in this case here, the y value that we would expect to obtain when x is 24 with this trend line equation would be y is equal to 31. Okay, and this should be enough to assist you in doing the homework problems for section 10.2 that's on the My Math Lab.